Շատ լավ։ Բարև ձեզ, բարև բոլորիդ, բարի երեկո անոր արևմտյան, արևելյան կողմը գտնվի, բարև բոլորին անոր գտնվի Ամերիկայի մեջ։ ARPA հիմնարկի ցերնարկն է սա։ Այսօր քիչ մտարբեր միջոցառում է։ Պիտի այնպես անենք, որ այսօր միայն ARPA-ի մասին խոսենք։ Եվ մեր հյուրերուն մենք շատ շնորհակալ ենք այն բոլորը, որ պիտի միանան մեզի Հայաստանեն եւ Ամերիկայեն, որոնց հետ աշխատած ենք Հայաստանի մեջ գիտությունը եւ տեխնոլոգիան զարգացնելու, գրթությունը եւ այլ բնակավարներ, եւ պիտի իրենք ներկայացնեն մեր կողմէ, թե ինչ ձևով իրենք գրծած են օգտվել ARPA-ի աշխատանքներեն։ Եվ գլխավորապես պիտի լա ուրեմն գարջ ներկայացումը յուրաքանչյուրին կողմէ եւ մեր գործունեության մասին որոշ տեղեկություններ, նաեւ իրենց գործունեության մասին որոշ տեղեկություններ պիտի մեզի փոխանցեն։ Նախ կուզեի շնորհակալություն հայտնել, հատուկ շնորհակալություն բարոն Կարեն Trchounianին, որ նախարարի դեղակալն է գրթության, գիտության, մշակույթի եւ սպորտի, որ այսօր միացավ մեզի եւ պիտի ներկայացնե գործունեությունը, որ մենք իրեն հետ ծավալած ենք եւ նաեւ այն բաժինը, որ Հայաստանի գրթության, գիտության, մշակույթի եւ սպորտի նախարարության հետ մենք կփորձենք ScienceFair-ը դարաձել դպրոցներու մեջ, այսինքն գիտահետազոտական հանդեսներ սելով հայերեն, որ պիտի աշակերտներուն սորվեցնե նորարար ձևով, նորարարություն ընել, նորարար ձևով մտածել, գիտական մոտեցումներով խնդիրներ լուծել եւ նաեւ իրենց կսորվեցնե հետազոտություն կատարել որոշ նյութիմը, իրենց ընդրած նյութին շուրջ, նաեւ կսորվեցնե իրենց ներկայացնել իրենց արդյունքները բաստարի վրա, ամփոփ կերպով եւ բավարար ճշգրտությամբ, նաեւ իրենց կսորվեցնե ուսումնասիրություն կատարել, այսինքն analysis անել, իրենց արդյունքները արժևորել եւ ստայնում եզրակացություն անել եւ նաեւ կսորվեցնե իրենց արդյունքները գարենալ բերանացի ներկայացնել, որոնք կգարձենք, որ շատ կարևոր հատկություններ են, հատկանիշներ են մարդու համար եւ աշակերտներուն համար կրնա մեծ օգտակարություն բերել, նաեւ անշուշտ կփորձենք, նաեւ կգարձենք, որ գիտության հանդեպ սերը իրենց կավելնա։ Ուրեմն այս աշխատանքներու մասին եւ նաեւ Ալիխանյանի մեջ մեր գործունեության մասին Biology Institute of Molecular Biology-ի մեջ եւ նաեւ ուրիշ մյուս հաստատություններու հետ մեր գործունեության մասին մի խոսվի։ Ուրեմն մեր այսօրվա պատասխանատուն պիտի լա մեր վարչության անդամ մեր քարտուղարը, ARPA-ի քարտուղարը պրոֆեսոր Ani Abrahamian եւ ինքը պիտի ներկայացնի խոսողները եւ նաեւ ինքը պիտի ղեկավարի այսօրվա անտեսը։ Ani Abrahamian.
Շնորհակալ եմ, Dr. Panosyan. Բարև ձեզ, սիրելի հայրենակիցներ. Good morning and good evening to those of you tuning in from Armenia, including many of our speakers. The ARPA Institute has been working in Armenia now for 3 decades, 30 years, helping advance science, education, technology, healthcare, and many other sectors. So the most current activities include the complete technical and financial support for the establishment of the first class 1,000 clean room in Armenia in the Alikhanyan National Lab. The second include, and in no particular order, I'm just going down the list of projects that they're working on, working with the Ministry of ESCS to establish the process of science fairs in all schools of Armenia. The third is the invention competition for young scientists. And the fourth, providing technical and financial assistance to the Institute of Molecular Biology, the ANL, Physical Research Institute, Chemical Physics Institute, the Yerevan State University, ABI, and Polytechnic. In addition, a group of astrophysicists organized by the ARPA Institute is currently working with a team of experts on the ROT54 radio antenna on Aragats to help put into working condition. Today, representatives from each of these various ventures will present briefly on their work and on how the ARPA Institute has helped further their organization and their projects. Once again, through their steadfast work in Armenia, the ARPA Institute continues to serve as a steady reminder for us all that progress can be made together. I look forward to all of us listening closely and engaging with our speakers. Thank you each for your time here today. And so let me introduce you to our first speaker today, Dr. Trchounian, a Ph.D. in biophysics from Yerevan State University, is a professor of biology and chair of biochemistry, microbiology, and biotechnology, and the deputy minister of ESCS in Armenia. Dr. Trchounian has carried out research in the Department of Microbiology, Martin Luther University Halle-Wittenberg, Germany, and in the Laboratory of Microbiology, Wageningen University, Wageningen, the Netherlands. He has received numerous research grants, numerous prestigious awards, and is a member of many professional and technical societies, including the American Society for Microbiology and the US Biophysical Society. Dr. Trchounian has authored over 20 peer-reviewed articles in international journals. Dr. Trchounian, thank you for your time here today. Can you please open up the discussion by telling us a little bit about the work that you are doing? And you can speak Hayan Angalen Intrahamad.
Okay, so better, I think it's in English. Thank you for your introduction, Ani, and thank you everyone who joined our meeting today, and thank you ARPA for inviting, and Dr. Panosyan for inviting to have a speech for today's meeting. So I will speak on behalf of our ministry, what we are doing with ARPA. First, as you know, it was already invention competition, yeah, about the for each year, we from different universities or research institutes from academy, they are applying for this invention competition, and the group of experts, of course, with cooperation with our ministry and different universities and experts, trying to select the best for the best first prize, second and third for these invention competitions. And each year, of course, we try to select the best ones, but sometimes it is difficult, but we are trying to do it. And we want to expand our way of trying to apply for invention competition that we spoke also with Dr. Panosyan, because we need that the applicants will be more and more each year, but we have some difficulties with this, but we are trying to do our best that the applications will be each year more, and trying to see how we can deliver also not only invention competition, but the new programs, which we have to discuss for the next few years, what we can do with ARPA regarding science and higher education. And of course, ARPA is trying to help different universities and research institutes via supplying equipment, or as you mentioned, trying to build a clean room, or trying to help different researchers or young scientists to stay in science and to further develop science in Armenia, and which is very, very important for us. And we hope that your support will be more and more each year, and you will broaden your regions and different subjects, which is, I think, important not only for I think, STEM sciences, but we need also to develop social and humanitarian sciences. Because mainly we are focused on STEM. Yes, this is a priority, but we need also to go for social humanitarian sciences. So the other important cooperation with ARPA is science fairs. So last year we organized science fair in Armenia, of course, within this COVID times. It is a little bit difficult, but we have been successful, and from many schools from different regions of Armenia applied for this science fair, and in last year in May or June the finalists were selected, and they one of the finalists also participated in in international science fair, which was sponsored, and ARPA was one of the main supporters of this, and which will be done also this year. The same science fair, and our participants from different schools will also participate in this international science fair competition, and hopefully this will also be one of the important stimulations that from school there will be interest to science, and of course we have also with the state budget support for organizing each year science fairs, and this year it is also planned to do a science fair, and we have planned to make it a little bit broader, but of course we are just discussing and trying to understand how we can organize all this stuff, and trying to make that as many pupils, as many also schools will be involved in this. So each year we have, for example, if we have several schools, then we need to expand it to all schools which can participate in these science fairs. This is our main goal and strategic plan for making the competition available for everybody. The important thing is, the important thing is also that the last year it was interesting that many of the projects were also experimental ones done in their school fields. For example, it was a lot in agriculture and biotechnology. Also from my point of view as a biotechnologist, microbiologist and biochemist, and I was surprised how many pupils were so interested, and this made a little bit clearer for us that we need to broaden this science fair and make it available for as many schools as possible now.
Deputy Minister Trchounian, this is so wonderful, just about the scope of work, but as you broaden the science fairs, obviously, other than fiscally, how could we in the diaspora support you? How can ARPA support you better? And also a third question is, when you say broaden, so it's accessible to all, what happens after these science fairs? The students win the prize, they win. What happens? Do we market the inventions, the actual prizes? What happens to these students who become winners?
So regarding the invention competition, they win money, a prize, first place, second, or this is well. So, and they continue their work on trying to make their invention more, it's better, and trying to go to market if it is possible. This is for invention competition. So for science fairs in schools, first of all, these students who are, the people who are winners, then they participate in this international science fair Olympiad, or it's called International Science Fair, which is supported by ARPA. But the thing we want to broaden is to that with the help of ARPA, try to have, for example, try to have project leaders or yeah, let's say people who can be mentors for these pupils. Yeah, because of course we have a lot of labs. Yeah, even for example, some go to Institute of Molecular Biology to make their experiments. Yeah, for then presenting in science fairs. Some go to our lab, some go to different places. But it would be also interesting if any of us here or within with ARPA, you can also have mentors who will be supported by ARPA and then can help our pupils. And of course, even invention competition winners, students or young scientists, to promote their ideas, technologies further. Of course, this is one of the ways that we think we can cooperate with ARPA. And the other thing is the technologies or ideas that are on the paper. It would be interesting to make small, of course not big, research projects, research plans, or research, you know, small research grants for young scientists to implement their ideas and do alpha testing. So just to have a lab prototype and then further go to market. Yeah, this is very short answers.
No, it's great. It's giving us a good understanding. Yeah. Is there any, when I'm putting you completely on the spot here, Deputy Minister, is there any invention or science fair winner competition project venture that really stands out to you when you think about them, or one that you feel like really we can build off of, or is one that made an impression on you even?
So regarding last year's science fair from pupils, yeah, it was really surprised. Why? Because usually some things, even in universities, they don't have such ideas as pupils from the schools. So this was really very good. So we hope that in future these future students will be better than we were when we were students, and they will develop more and try to do their best for development of Armenia. Regarding the invention competition, it is a little bit difficult to say which project has a future for going to the market. But that's why if you can help with and mentors and with small research grants to go further and make a research analysis and to see with marketing specialists and business specialists, yeah, how it can be promoted further, then it would be one of the ways that the invention competition and further our future students will go further.
Mm-hmm. So is there any example of one that you would want us to help, or that you could see that just stands out, or just not even stands out, but anything that
there are not only one. I think there are several.
Like
but,
what?
But the thing is that it's I am a scientist. I think from scientific point of view.
That's okay.
But when you speak with people from private sector business, their ideas and their approaches are different. That's why I said we need also some marketologists or from private sector persons who will take the idea and this let's say startup or alpha test lab prototype and try to go further and say if it is possible or not.
I know there was one that was fascinating, and I don't know if it wasn't through ARPA, I don't think, but just the AI invention, like the robot, Robin the robot, and other inventions that have come up that have been so, that have been all over in terms of media coverage, and they started in Armenia.
Yeah, it's from IT sector. We have many interesting inventions with many interesting scientific based already IT companies. But of course, it's IT, and from let's say when you have computer science IT, it's easier to go from lab prototyping to the market. But from other natural sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, it takes time. That's why, and the approach is, I mean, from business sector to IT, they are easier because they see that, for example, the money can come very fast.
Yeah.
And but from let's say physics or biotechnology, biology, when you invest money, you don't know exactly, you can't calculate, yeah, after how many I mean several years it will come back or no. That's why it's very risky compared to IT.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, thank you so much, Deputy Minister Trchounian. And I know I used the acronym before, so just to make sure everybody knows, it's the Deputy Minister of Education, Science, Culture, and Sports, ESCS. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For your time here today. Next, I'd like to turn to Dr. Ani Abrahamian. Dr. Abrahamian is a Ph.D. and a professor of experimental nuclear physics at the University of Notre Dame. She's the director of the Alikhanyan National Science Laboratory in the Yerevan Physics Institute. Professor Abrahamian has mentored over 15 PhD students, given over 225 invited talks at various national and international conferences, has published prolifically over 200 papers in refereed journals, book chapters, and more. She is active in numerous international and national advisory committees in nuclear science. Dr. Abrahamian is on the scientific councils of GSI-FAIR in Germany, JINR in the Russian Federation, and GANIL in France. Among the many honors recognizing her achievements, she is an elected fellow of the National Academy of Sciences of the Republic of Armenia, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and the American Physical Society. Dr. Aprahamian, it's an honor to have you join us today. Thank you. Please do share with us a little bit about the work that you are doing and the cooperation with ARPA in helping you achieve those goals.
Thank you very much, Ani. I would like to share some slides to say a few words about Alikhanyan, and then also the role that ARPA has played in what we're doing at Alikhanyan. So if you can see my screen, please let me know. You can.
Yes.
Very good. So Alikhanyan National Science Laboratory of Armenia, I always say a few words. It's also the Yerevan Physics Institute, known around the world as Yerevan Physics Institute. It is the National Science Laboratory of Armenia, and the concept is new to Armenia. A national science laboratory concept was started by Germans before World War I. Basically, it's the foundation of national science laboratories in the US and all over Europe. The basic fundamentals are that to do outstanding or world-class research in the fundamental sciences, to contribute with education and outreach for the training of the next generation of STEM scientists, and to help with the economy of Armenia. Basically, we can say that a national laboratory's responsibilities hold the health, the wealth, and the defense of the country. Our vision at Alikhanyan is, as I mentioned before, to be excellent in, to be not only excellent, but to be a regional of excellence in a lot of the fundamental sciences like high energy physics, nuclear physics, astrophysics, and material science. And the mission, the way we've gone about establishing things, is to strengthen what we have and also to build new ones. And this is where ARPA has played a very significant role. I show here the 7 divisions that exist at Alikhanyan National Science Laboratory. So we have a division of experimental sciences, cosmic ray division, theoretical physics, computation and IT, applied physics, isotopes, and a center for cosmology and astrophysics. The isotopes division was added about, yes?
All right, but we'll come back. We'll come back and maybe that'll give you a minute to.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Arshak Arshakyan. Dr. Arshakyan has a Ph.D., a DSc, and is the director of the Institute of Molecular Biology of NAS RA. Dr. Arshakyan holds an MS in biochemistry from the Yerevan State University and a Ph.D. in molecular and cellular biology from the IMB. In 2011, he established the bioinformatics research group focusing on omics, bioinformatics of chronic diseases, cancers, studies of genomic variability, drug repositioning, and systems biology. He is also professor at the Russian Armenian University and adjunct lecturer at the American University of Armenia. His main research interests are in bioinformatics and computational biology. Arshak was nominated as the most productive scientist of the year in 2013, 2015, 2017, and again in 2019 by the Science Committee of the Ministry of ESCS RA, and has over 100 publications in international peer-reviewed journals and 2 patents. Dr. Arshakyan is a member of the Scientific Board of Armenian Bioinformatics and Institute. Dr. Arshakyan, we are honored to have you here today.
Thank you, Ani, for introduction.
Of course.
I would like to thank the ARPA leadership, especially Dr. Panasyan, for inviting me to this event. It's great pleasure and honor for me. Since any presentation, but once I heard Ani has something to show, I become jealous and very quickly had few slides to demonstrate, if I may. Do you see my slides?
Yes, perfectly.
Great. Thanks again. So actually, our cooperation with ARPA started so many years ago. I even can remember the exact date. I tried to do that, but it wasn't possible. And throughout these years, I think it's a decade at least, and throughout all these years, ARPA really supported the Institute in every possible way, starting from instrumentation, technical consultancy, support, encouraging the young scientists to pursue science, to stay in STEM, in biology related disciplines, and really do their best to increase or promote development of biosciences in Armenia. And that's, I can say that in many areas of research which currently is implemented at the Institute, ARPA has somehow seeds and gave impulse us to pursue or start this particular research direction. So I just put several figures or pictures in my presentation, and all these activities were somehow related to ARPA's support. So first of all, our institute is one of the probably, I don't want to be modest, and I can say that it's one of the best bioscience related research institutions in Armenia. And we have many different laboratories working in many different areas of biosciences, starting from antiviral research, ending with neurobiology. And one of the focus areas for our institute is genomics, a study of genomic diversity in viruses, in microorganisms, and up to human, and especially we are interested in genetic ancestry of Armenian population, as well as understanding the genetic variability of risk factors for development of various chronic diseases such as cancer and other diseases like cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, mental health diseases, and so on. So why I'm showing this particular picture? Because this possibility of doing analysis of doing molecular genetic surveillance of coronavirus lineages in Armenia has stemmed probably 5 or even 6 years ago, when ARPA donated us the first sequencing machine in Armenia. It was ABI 3130, old Sanger technology-based machine, but it played a huge role, especially in educating young scientists of doing genetic research, doing sequencing research. And opportunity of using this machine and using and getting acquainted with sequencing technologies allowed us in 2020 and 21 to really cooperate with Ministry of Health and supply them with vital information about distribution of coronavirus lineages in Armenia. And this information in some ways also shaped the public health response in our country towards coronavirus and helped them to adjust epidemiological actions to contain coronavirus spread in Armenia. So it worked in some ways it doesn't, but it wasn't very much different from other world, which in which we played some part. Also, having continuous donations of instruments from ARPA, again, many 5-6 years ago, we used these skills and abilities to train young generation of researchers who then contributed to or returned their favor back to country by participating in, let's say, it was an ambitious project for Armenia of manufacturing coronavirus real-time PCR diagnostic tests. And these tests were at the right place and at the right time, and where there was a global shortage in 2020 for supplies and test systems. We were able to fulfill this shortage in Armenia, and testing has never stopped even for 1 day in Armenia. Also because of the kits we produced and supplied to Ministry of Health. Another very interesting result stemming back from initiating genomic research in Armenia by this cooperation with ARPA is study of genetic diversity of Armenian grape wine. This studies is done at our Laboratory of Plant Genomics, led by Dr. Christina Markaryan. And we found incredible results about development of grape wine, or actually genetic diversity and origin of grape wine in Armenia. And which we are very proud of is that one of the journals dedicated its front page, or title page, to the paper which was published in the same journal about parentage analysis of grapevine, Armenian grapevine cultures, and also wild grape types. ARPA also supported a lot with technical consultations, seminars, and I remember Dr. Panassian had multiple visits to our institute. We had very important and interesting scientific and innovation-related workshops and seminars at our institute. I know that many young scientists at the institute have been awarded by ARPA Innovation Competition Awards. One of these awardees today will also present her activities. This is Lilit Nersisyan. So in this way, ARPA really showed that science which is done in Armenia may have an impact on a world level and can be accepted in a bigger world, and can really be of sufficient quality to pass peer review by scientists resting in the not in Armenia but on international level. And this is just another continuation of the story with grapevine genetic diversity. In the frame of one of the projects, now we are establishing a high altitude vineyard at Vayazot at altitude of 2,000 meters. And the idea is here to test the capacity of endemic wine cultivars to resist of abiotic stress, in order to find traits and that can be useful for high altitude wine production. Finally, another activity related to ARPA, again through the donation of equipment, is establishment of first in kind virology or molecular virology laboratory in Armenia, laboratory that deals with that studies molecular biology of viruses, as well as designs and discovers antiviral compounds. So with the equipment that was donated by ARPA, and this equipment actually led the lab to grow and develop in very fast pace. And in the last 5 years, this laboratory has published more than 15 papers in high impact international peer-reviewed journals, was able to attract a lot of investments and grants. And actually, finally, they stamped as one of the first biotech startups in Armenia, focused on identification of or design and discovery of different biologically active compounds using machine learning in combination with experimental studies. This laboratory is led by our young scientist, Dr. Babakim Zakarian. So in general, I would like to summarize my presentation with words of gratitude to ARPA. And I can say that ARPA is one of the organizations that really take actions toward helping Armenia development science and technology in Armenia. We had a lot of conversations with different persons, different organizations, but few of them actually do something, and something which is tangible, which you can see and you can really evaluate the impact of their activities. ARPA is one of these organizations, and in a way, ARPA significantly promoted development of at least in our institute, which we are very grateful for. Thank you very much. I would be happy to answer questions if there are any.
Thank you, Dr. Arshakyan. And thank you for your accolades for ARPA. On behalf of Dr. Panosyan, I'll say thank you for that. I'm curious how we can continue, other than fiscally, how can we continue to support your work, as well as how can the diaspora chip in, and what ways can we help further your vision?
I think ARPA can serve as a good interface between diaspora and researchers in Armenia to help to establish collaborative links, which that would allow to make interesting scientific research between like research groups in Armenia and that's are resting in diaspora. It's not like we don't have collaborations and we don't do like we don't or we are not involved in international research consortia, but the irony is that we mostly collaborate with non-Armenian researchers rather than Armenian researchers, especially in the US. I would say that one of the reasons for this is that diaspora researchers do not realize the potential of research potential in Armenia. And if we go back for 20 or 30 years, everybody knew that Armenia was in very bad situation. It was like it lost its whole economy. Scientists were leaving. Nothing would happen in the field of research. But this changed a lot. But the mentality, especially in diaspora, Armenian diaspora scientists, remain that that still Armenia needs kind of support, and mostly, let's say, fiscal support, but not that Armenia became, in Armenia, there are research groups which really might help to solve important research questions, and they were also to collaborate with. The other thing which ARPA may help a lot is to connect mentors from diaspora with research groups and scientists in Armenia and students in Armenia, and try to do a knowledge transfer in the ways of teaching and remote supervision for research groups in Armenia. That would be a very valuable experience, since Armenian science needs internalization in this term. So we are, like, you would not see someone non-Armenian at the moment in Armenia doing research. But in this way, we can get this international experience, and especially in areas of research management, which I think we still have a lot of to develop.
Thank you. We'll do one quick question before we pivot back to Dr. Aprahamian. Dr. Manushak Zoyan is asking, she's curious if there were any genomic testing done for SARS-CoV virus, and if there were any interesting findings that you found that you'd be willing to share.
Actually, genomic testing, if you mean whether we did, we continuously, actually for last year and this year, we sample every month clinical samples and do sequencing for viral genomes to understand the more or less distribution of lineages and clades in Armenia. So basically what we saw is that almost 100% of cases have been introduced to Armenia from outside when lockdowns were somehow more relaxed. So when Armenia opened borders, we get influx of new lineages and new variants to Armenia. So and we haven't seen much evolution of virus in Armenia by itself. So no any new mutations, and we were especially looking for mutations that may alter the results for PCR tests, but we haven't found any significant mutations that may affect viral, like transmissibility of virus or severity for disease. Actually, we also currently study the genetics of host responses to the virus, so to understand if there are any genetic variants in human that may be related to like different severity, different response to coronavirus. We are engaged in activities in international consortia called COVID Host Genome Initiative, and currently we are preparing a manuscript that would describe the population specifics of COVID response in large populations, large number of different populations.
Thank you, Dr. Arshakyan. And I know we're getting a lot of questions. I want to make sure to honor the presenters' time to present. So we'll get to them at the end of the talk, hopefully. Dr. Aprahamian, shall we try again?
Let's see here. Yes, let's try it. I think we'll have to work with whatever works.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you see something now of mine. Do you see the vision slide? Hello?
I see it. I see it.
And do you see it advancing?
No,
No.
but it's okay. We'll just go with what you have.
Okay. All right, let's go with this. Okay, so the idea was that we're focusing on trying to build infrastructure for research in Armenia that could impact both the economy as well as make us a presence on the world stage. Do you see now the 7 divisions?
Yes, it advanced. It's on the 7 divisions.
So these are the existing areas that we have at Alikhanyan. Out of these 7 divisions, one of them was newly founded 10 years ago, the Isotopes Research and Development division. And we have just established a presence in quantum technologies with a new group in the beginning of this year in 2022. Our strategy has been to build on the strengths that we have and to develop new strengths where we don't have them. So today I want to talk about what the 1000 class clean room at Alikhanyan that was completely sponsored by ARPA. Not only does it do something for Alikhanyan, but it provides a future infrastructure for all of Armenia. I will show some of these slides that were prepared by one of our young scientists, Narek Margarian.
Terrific. Dr. Aprahamian, just sorry to interrupt. Do you want to turn on your video too? Your personal one.
We can do that.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
All right. So the clean room, the 1000 class clean room, it is the only one in Armenia at the moment. So ARPA created a very important infrastructure component for all of Armenia. So people ask typically, what is a clean room and what is the importance of a clean room? It's basically a room that has controlled particle presence, particle concentration. And you also can control the temperature, the humidity, and the pressure. Everything is necessary. This is very important if you're trying to work with microelectronics or nanomaterials of different kinds, or preparing materials that could be interrupted. All of this stuff. And we've had great guidance, not only financially from building this room that didn't exist, but also by the direction of Dr. Aram Tanyelian, who helped us through this entire process. So the clean room specifications, I enlarged it here so people can see what does it mean to have a 1000 class clean room. And basically it means that you must control all particles down to the limits that are shown here. It's an ISO 6, which basically means that there have to be less than 300 particles that are bigger than 5 microns in size, or 35,000. You can see all the different specifications that are listed on this one line here. So the specification of 1000 class means very specific control of the number of particles, the sizes of the particles, and the kind of work that it could affect. So this is a tremendous, can you see the picture of the room right now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the room, and it has very special treatment for walls, for floors, and also the air in this room is constantly cleaned. There are HEPA filters and air conditioning and all kinds of quality control that is ongoing as the facility is operating. I wanted to show you some of the structure ongoing as it was being built. So initially we had this kinds of air conditioners on the outside of the building or heaters, but this particular room has the air conditioning system in the attic of the same room. And the room and the roof and the air control HEPA filters are all within distance. So it's an amazing infrastructure addition for us in Armenia. I mentioned something about the importance of having clean rooms. So the fact that Armenia didn't have such a facility before means that Armenia couldn't do specific kinds of research. And this kind of a clean room will not only enable what we want to do right now, but it can also open doors for future research, particularly in material science. We were worried about making materials that would be blind to infrared and other kinds of detection. For example, this might have been important during the war for our soldiers, but also preparation of special electronics and clean materials in the room. If we look at who will be able to use this clean room, the clean room completely funded, designed, managed, organized, and advised by Dr. Tanyelian and Dr. Panosyan. Through the entire process, it is at Alikhanyan, but everyone in Armenia can use this. When we wrote the proposal to ARPA, we proposed the structure, a committee where people could examine every proposal for someone who wanted to use the facility to come and use it. So not only is it available for the material scientists at Alikhanyan, but also for the Chemical Physics Institute or the Institute of Physical Research, all academy institutes, Yerevan State University, Yerevan Polytechnic, RAU, the Russian Armenian University, as well as from the private sector. Basically, everyone who has a need for a clean room with a hood and special glove boxes to do this kind of thing, there will be a committee to examine the proposal and to allow that to happen. We had proposed a number of research topics that would be done, for example, making of very thin graphene films or making perovskite materials, for special detection systems, for clean, we have already at Alikhanyan, and you will hear Amur Margarian talk about it a bit later, about picosecond timing systems. So for the detectors for all of these systems need to be in a very clean environment, highly precise. So basically ARPA created for Armenia the infrastructure. This is in the mode of don't feed them for a day, but show them how to fish kind of idea. So creating the infrastructure in Armenia makes possible all of the ideas that our scientists have right now, as well as future ones. So this is an amazing contribution, because infrastructure, scientific experimental infrastructure, is what is needed in Armenia. So basically, what can Diaspora do to help? We're very grateful for this clean room, but there are lots of other things, and we have participating in this meeting today by others who have created advanced detector laboratory infrastructure like the Paris Fund, and collaborations with diaspora universities, with MIT and others. So we are together building scientific experimental infrastructure in Armenia. We are also trying to, at Alikhanyan, we have built the beginnings or the foundation for a hands-on museum for the kids of Armenia that visit frequently the laboratory for hands-on experiments that they can do. So there is this hands-on living museum type of idea. We have also cleaned up and trying to modernize the library at Alikhanyan, which has precious books that don't exist anywhere else. I know in this day of Google, lots of books are already electronic copies are online. That's not true for some of the collection of books at Alikhanyan. So those are all kinds of things that we're doing. And we're very grateful for ARPA for this 1,000 class clean room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Aprahamian, and thank you for the amazing work you're doing. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Amur Margaryan. I'm going to try to keep in the interest of time, the bios a little briefer. I'd like to say that Dr. Margaryan has received his Ph.D. from Yerevan Physics Institute and has continued his studies in the field of experimental nuclear physics at Yerevan Physics Institute as Serpkov Proton Accelerator, Serpkov Moscow region, JLab, Newport News, Virginia, tons of places. It's here in his bio on the flyer. To know he is a leading scientific researcher at Alikhanyan National Science Laboratory, as Ani was saying. Dr. Margaryan has published more than 223 papers, a very prolific writer, many in peer-reviewed journals. His current research interest is in ultra-fast photon detectors and optoelectronic devices. He is the inventor of a new radio frequency photomultiplier tube, which has potential applications in numerous scientific fields and can detect laser pulses in picoseconds. Thank you. Dr. Margaryan.
Thank you, Ani. Շնորհակալ եմ շատ այս հնարավորության համար եւ ինձ շատ հաճելի է խոսել ARPA-ի մասին եւ մասնավորապես Փանոսյան Հակոբի մասին։ Այնպես ասացվել, որ մենք ծանոթացել ենք մոտ 7 տարի առաջ եւ մեր մեջ հաստատվել է շատ ընկերական, բարեկամական ջերմ հարաբերություններ, բայց հետո ես տեսա, որ Հակոբը ընկերական եւ ջերմ հարաբերություններ ունի Հայաստանի շատ գիտնականների հետ եւ ինչպես այս հավաքույթի մեջ է, որ ինքը ջերմ մթնոլորտ է ստեղծել, այնպես էլ երբ որ ինքը Երևանում այդպիսի ջերմ մթնոլորտ է ստեղծում, հավաքում է բոլորին եւ մենք որ շատ քիչ ենք ճանաչում այստեղ իրար, Հակոբի միջոցով բավականին ընկերներ ենք ձեռք բերել եւ գոլեգաներ, որ շատ լավ է, որ ինքը ոչ միայն դիասպորային է մեր հետ ծանոթացնում, այլ մեր կողքի աշխատողներն է մեզ հետ ծանոթացնում, հայ եզակի բան է։ ARPA-ից երկու տեսակի օգնություն ենք մենք ստացել, մեկը նյութական, մյուսը ոչ նյութական, եւ մենք մոտ 20 տարի զբաղվում ենք ժամանակի չափման նոր տեխնոլոգիայի մշակմամբ եւ ես թվեր կբերեմ այդ նյութական օգնությունը ցույց տալու համար եւ այս 20 տարվա մեջ այդ տեխնոլոգիայի վրա ծախսել ենք ասենք մոտ 650,000 ամերիկյան դոլար, ARPA-ից ստացել ենք մոտ 22,000 Հայաստանից ստացել ենք մոտ 100,000, Գլազգոյի համալսարանից ընկերական ստացել ենք մոտ նորից 100,000 եւ մոտ 60%-ը 400,000 ստացել ենք միջազգային գիտատեխնիկական կենտրոնից։ Ես ուզում եմ պատմեմ, թե նոր մեթոդ ստեղծել միջազգային ֆոնդերից, այդ շատ եզակի բան է, ես չեմ կարծում, թե մի ուրիշ երկրում դա հնարավոր կլիներ, բայց այդ փոքրիկ գումարը, որ մենք ստացել ենք ARPA-ից, շատ օգտակար է եղել, որովհետև շատ տեղին է եղել։ Մի անգամ մենք ստացել ենք, օրինակ Հակոբի հետ զրուցելով, ես պատմել եմ, որ մենք պրոբլեմ ունենք, եւ եթե $2,000 ունենայինք, կապի ինստիտուտում այսպիսի բան կսարքեինք։ Ինքն ասեց, իրոք, գնանք տեղ, ու ոտքով գնացինք այդ կապի ինստիտուտը, Հետո պարզեց, որ այդ կապի ինստիտուտը առաջին էլեկտրակայանն է եղել, հիդրոկայանն է եղել, Ձորում է գտնում, շատ սիրուն տեղ էր։ Եվ ինքն ասեց շատ լավ, հենց հիմա ես ստորագրում եմ, թող պատրաստեմ։ Հակոբ, ես ուզում եմ ասեմ, որ անցյալ տարի Գլազգոյի համալսարանը խնդրեց, որ այդ նույնից էլ իրանց համար էլ սարքեց։ Այսօր արդեն այդ 2000-ը շրջանառության մեջ է դրվել։
Wow.
Այո, եւ ինքը մի անգամ էլ օգնեց, մենք իմ երիտասարդ գոլեգա Ժամկոչյան Սիմոնը դիմում էր գիտ կոմիտեին եւ պետք էր համաֆինանսավորող, համաֆինանսավորեցին $20,000 եւ մենք այդ $20,000 ձեր բերեցինք գերժամանակակից գիտական սարք, թվային օսցիլոսկոպ, որ անցյալ տարի որոշիչ եղավ, որ մենք ցուցադրեցինք մեր տեխնիկան, անցյալ տարի մենք ցուցադրեցինք մեր տեխնիկան, եւ ընդհանրապես շատ հաճելի է Հակոբի հետ, շատ շնորհակալություն, եւ ես տեսնում ոչ միայն Հակոբի հետ, այլ նաեւ ARPA-ի շուրջ հավաքված մարդկանց հետ է շատ հաճելի մարդիկ հավաքել, մասնավորապես եւ ձեզ Անի, հենց որ բոլորից հետ շատ շնորհակալություն։
Մեծ շնորհակալություն ձեզի, Դոկտոր Մագարյան, եւ Dr. Panosyan'la նույն բանը կնեղոս, ամենից կմիացնե, so ադին մեջը կա։
Շատ հաճելի բան է դա։
Այո, շնորհակալություն։ Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Aram Manukyan, who received his Ph.D. from the Institute for Physical Research, from the Institute for Physical Research, and has served as a visiting researcher in numerous international research centers. Aram is a leading researcher in nanotechnology and advanced structures in the IPR and is the recipient of numerous national and international grants. Aram studies applications of magnetic nanoparticles in cancer research and is the author of over 40 articles in international journals. Aram, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, Ani. Պարոն Մարգարյանը շատ հետաքրքիր բան ասեց Հակոբ Փանոսյանի մասին։ Ես եթե չեմ սխալվում, պարոն Փանոսյանին հենց Ամուր Մարգարյանի միջոցով եմ ծանոթացել ու պարոն Փանոսյանը, երբ գալիս է Հայաստան, ինքը իհարկե արդեն գիտի տարբեր տեղեր, տարբեր կապեր, փորձում է բոլորին միացնել իրար, օգնել իրանց այդ scientific խնդիրներով, բաներ։ Հետո իմ համար առավել կարևորը, որ պարոն Փանոսյանն անում է, դա իր ներքին ձգտումն է Հայաստանում ինչպես զարգացնել գիտությունը եւ տեխնոլոգիաները։ Եվ այդ առումով ինքը օգտագործում է ամբողջ ARPA-ի ռեսուրսը։ Ես թույլ տվեք շեյր անեմ իմ մեր հետ կապված our laboratory engaged in the synthesis and investigation of magnetic nanoparticles in the field of application biomedicine. We synthesized a large range of magnetic nanoparticles, in particular iron, cobalt, nickel, and their solid solution. Այդ կապակցությամբ ARPA ինստիտուտը մեր համար ձեռք բերեց մագնիսական նանոմասնիկների տաքացման սարք, որի արժեքը $16,000 էր, շատ օգտակար ու լավ սարք է մեր համար։ Մենք այդ ազոտում ենք այս մասնիկների heating properties-ը տաքացման ուրեմն բոլոր հատկությունները այդ բիո մեդիսայնում կիրառելու համար մասնավորապես նման նանոպարտիկլները շատ էֆեկտիվ են to the destruction of cancer cells. It is հայտնի մեթոդ է տաքացնելով ռակի այդ բջիջները վերացնելու համար։ Երկրորդ ուրեմն սարքը, որը համաֆինանսավորեց ARPA ինստիտուտը, այդ մագնետոմետր ձեռք բերելն էր, մագնետոմետրի արժեքը $70,000 էր, ARPA ինստիտուտը մեզ համաֆինանսավորեց $5,000, որ մենք կարողանայինք մասնակցել սարքի ձեռքբերման մրցույթին։ Առանց համաֆինանսավորման մենք այդ մրցույթին չէինք կարող մասնակցել, համաֆինանսավորումը եղավ, մենք մասնակցեցինք, շահեցինք այդ ուրեմն սարքի ձեռքբերումը եւ իմի սարքը արդեն ասել է Հայաստան, մոտ ես կարծում եմ մի քանի օրից հետո արդեն սարքը կլինի մեր լաբորատորիայում։ Ես կարծում եմ, որ մեր համագործակցությունը կշարունակվի ARPA ինստիտուտի հետ ու նորանոր սարքեր մենք կարողանանք ձեռք բերել ARPA-ի օժանդակությամբ։ Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manukyan, and thank you for your work and the very tangible description of what ARPA has contributed to. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Aravik Sarkisyan. She's a Ph.D. in antenna engineering. She is a professor in the National Polytechnic University of Armenia in radio engineering, business training, and adult education. Dr. Sarkisyan has more than 170 printed scientific and methodological empirical articles, 5 books, and 2 patents. She leads the Trchounian United Space Center project for reactivating the ROT-54/26 radio optical telescope antenna. She's the owner and the manager of Arlian Consulting and Training Company and was elected president of the Association for Youth and Adult Education and Lifelong Learning in Armenia. Dr. Sarkisyan was awarded by the RA Prime Minister Prize Best Businesswoman in 2013 for innovation and initiative. Dr. Sarkisyan, it's an honor to have you join us here today.
Thank you very much. Բարի երեկո տիկնայք, պարոնայք, բարի լույս ոմանց համար նաև ես կխոսեմ հայերեն, կպատմեմ ձեզ Հայաստանում մի մեծ ռադիոօպտիկական դիտակի մասին։ Այդ ռադիոօպտիկական դիտակը, իսկ մենք կոչում ենք այն ROT 5426, գտնվում է Արագած լեռան հարավային ստորոտում, բյուրականից մի քիչ բարձր, օրգով եւ տղեր գյուղերի մոտակայքում։ Դա մի առանձին մեծ տարածք է, որտեղ գտնվում է Արագածի գիտական կենտրոնը։ Մեր ռադիոդիտակը տեսքից էլ կկրահեք տարբերվում է առհասարակ հայտնի պարաբոլիկ շարժական ցասեր ունեցող անտենաներից։ Այն ստեղծված է պրոֆեսոր Պարիս Հերունու նախագծով եւ իրենից ներկայացնում է անշարժ սֆերիկ թաս 54 մետր տրամագծով եւ շարժական այսա երկրորդական հայելին, որը 5 մետր տրամագիծ ունի եւ կարող է պտտվել, շարժվել թեքելով փաստորեն ապահովելով տիեզերքում ցանկացած կետի դիտումը։ Եվս մեկ ուրեմն առանձնահատկություն մեր ռադիոդիտակը օպտիկական նաև դիտակ է, աշխարհում միակը, որի առանցքով ուրեմն համատեղված են ռադիո եւ օպտիկական դիտակ։ Ես չեմ պատմի մեր դիտակի պատմության մասին, այն շատ երկար է, սկսած 80-ական թվականներին, երբ նա կառուցվեց եւ ցավոք սրտի սովետական միության փլուզման հետ կապված ֆինանսական որևէ ուրեմն միջոց չէր ծախսվում, անկախ Հայաստանի տարիներին ավելի շատ էնտուզիազմի եւ չնչին ֆինանսավորման պայմաններում կատարվեցին մի շարք աշխատանքներ, ավելի շատ ինժեներական բնույթի, տեխնիկական գիտությունների զարգացման բնույթի։ Այսօր ռադիոդիտակը արդեն վերջին 10-15 տարիներ կոնսերվացված լինելուց հետո, անաշխատունակ վիճակում պահպանվելուց հետո, մի նոր կյանք է ստանում։ Մի խումբ էնտուզիաստներով մեզ հաջողվեց ուրեմն ստեղծել հերունու տիեզերական ազգային կենտրոն եւ այսօր Հայաստանի էկոնոմիկայի նախարարության բարձրաստիճան ղեկավարության կողմից որոշված է եւ սկսվել է ռադիոօպտիկական դիտակի ապակոնսերվացման եւ գործարկման աշխատանքները։ Մենք ունենք խնդիր անտենայի առանցքներից մեկում մեխանիկական վնասվածք կա, որը հնարավոր է ուրեմն շտկել եւ մենք սպասում ենք գարնանը, սեզոնին այդ գործողությունները կատարելու աշխատանքները ճիշտ կազմակերպելու համար արվել են բոլոր անհրաժեշտ զննումները, ինսպեկցիաները, պարզաբանվել են բոլոր այն հատվածները, որտեղ մեխանիկական եւ կամ այլ ուրեմն շտկումների կարիք կա, կատարվել են մի շարք փորձարկումներ, 4.5 գիգահերց հաճախականության տիրույթը ընտրվեց որպես այդպիսին եւ կատարվեցին մի շարք փորձարկումներ, զնվեցին տիեզերքի մի քանի հատվածներ հենց այս վիճակում, անտենայի անշարժ վիճակում, համագործակցում ենք խորհրդատվական մի խմբի հետ, եվրոպական հանրահայտ ռադիոինտերֆերոմետրական ցանցի մեջ մտած մասնագետների հետ, որոնք իրենց դրական կարծիքը, փորձաքննական կարծիքը տրվել են եւ ըստ մեր AG կարծիքի ռադիոօպտիկական դիտակը հերունու հայլային դիտակը եւ որպես առանձին ռադիոդիտակ եւ որպես մեծ ռադիոինտերֆերոմետրական ցանցի մասնիկ շատ կարեւոր ապագա ունի։ ARPA ինստիտուտի հետ մեր համագործակցությունը արդեն տարիների պատմություն ունի եւ ես միանում եմ բոլոր այն ջերմ խոսքերին, որ հնչեցին հենց պարոն Հակոբ Փանոսյանի հասցեին, պետք է նշեմ, որ նա միշտ իր բոլոր պաշտոնական այցերի ժամանակ եւ հանդիպումների ժամանակ հայաստանյան ուրեմն պաշտոնյաների հետ նշում է նաեւ մեր պրոյեկտը եւ դրա նշանակությունը Հայաստանում գիտության, տեխնիկայի, կրթության զարգացման համար։ Պետք է նաեւ նշեմ վերջին ուրեմն կես տարվա ընթացքում դարձյալ ARPA ինստիտուտի միջնորդությամբ 3 անվանի տեսաբան աստղաֆիզիկոսներ Վահե Պետրոսյանի, Արմեն Սետրակյանի եւ Լևոն Պողոսյանի ներդրումը մեր ուրեմն պրոյեկտին, նրանք հիմա հենց աշխատում են այսպես կոչված white paper կազմելու հարցում եւ մի լավ լուր բարեսպուն իմաստով այսօր իմացանք Լևոնը Պողոսյան ուրեմն արժանացել է շատ պատվաբեր մրցանակի տիեզերաբանության կոսմոլոգիի բնագավառում համաշխարհային մեծ ուրեմն ձեռքբերում է սա, շնորհավորում եմ Լևոնին եւ բոլորիս եմ շնորհավորում այդ ձեռքբերման հետ կապված։ Ինչ ենք մենք հիմա անում, ավելի շատ թղթային աշխատանքով ենք զբաղված, պատրաստվում ենք այն ամենի ինչ ասացի, փորձարկում կատարեցինք եւս մեկ անգամ, ինֆրակառուցվածքային խնդիրներ շատ կան այն տարածքում, որի մասին խոսքը գնում էր, դուք տեսնում եք նկարներում անմխիթար վիճակը, որը ուրեմն շտկելու հիմա ընթացքում ենք երևի այս նկարը մինչև եւ հետո վիճակի մասին ձեզ ինչ-որ բան կասի, տարածքում անկանոն աճած չորու տարբեր ճյուղեր ենք մաքրում, կարճ ասած, էլեկտրականության սնուցման խնդիրներն ենք լուծում ամբողջ տարածքում եւ մասնավորապես ռադիոդիտակի համար, պլանավորում ենք այն ամենը, ինչ պետք է կատարվի դառնան սեզոնին, իսկ դա առաջին հերթին կառավարման նոր համակարգի ստեղծումն է, առաջին գործողությունը ուրեմն ինչ պետք է անենք, դա է, ես բոլորի հրավիրում եմ, համեցեք, ինքներդ տեսեք եւ ավարտեմ այս մի սլայդով, որտեղ եւ դիտակն է եւ 13-րդ դարի եկեղեցին եւ Արարատը հերվում եւ այո Աստված չի խանգարում եւ չի կարող խանգարել երբեք նրանց, ովքեր ուզում են առաջ գնալ եւ ես համոզված եմ անհնարին ոչինչ չկա։ Շնորհակալություն։
Շատ շնորհակալություն Dr. Sarkisyan եւ շնորհակալություն հրավերի համար։ Աստծով կհանդիպենք։ Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Lilit Nersisyan. Dr. Nersisyan has a Ph.D. and over 10 years of experience in computational biology and genomics. She holds an MS in biotechnology and a second MS in computer science. Lilit has completed her Ph.D. in the Institute of Molecular Biology, NAS Armenia, and defended at the University of Leipzig, Germany. She has conducted postdoctoral studies in computational biology at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. Since 2021, Dr. Nersisyan is the founding director of the Armenian Bioinformatics Institute. She has served as the principal investigator on 3 research grants, authored 20 peer-reviewed publications, and won several fellowships in life sciences. She was nominated the most productive scientist of the year by the Science Committee of Armenia. Dr. Nersisyan has also been an adjunct lecturer at AUA and contributed to the development of bioinformatics track curricula and data science bachelor's program. Thank you for joining us here today, Dr. Nersisyan.
Thank you, and thanks a lot for organizing this wonderful gathering of people. Yeah, I would also like to share my presentation.
Sure. Perfect.
All right, so I would like to have just a quick introduction into what bioinformatics is and why we need to have a separate institute dedicated to that. So basically, it came as a necessity to develop a separate field of bioinformatics in response to relatively recent development in the technological sphere, where the sequencing and other technologies have enabled generation of huge amounts of data in genomics and many other subcategories of life. And basically what you see here is a projection of the size of genomics data produced every year. And you can see that soon it will surpass astronomy or top 500 supercomputers on Earth. And whenever there is a generation of this huge amounts of data, you need specialists who can actually analyze it and make sense of it and produce knowledge out of it. And the challenge is not only the amount of data, but you can see here that the different types of molecules that are governing our life in our cells. You can produce data from all of these types of molecules, and you can produce data from a single organism or many different ones. Analyzing the whole complexity of this information is the task of a bioinformatician. And basically in almost any direction in life sciences, be it precision medicine, epidemiology.
I'm sorry, Lilith, we see your slides, not the presentation.
I saw her there.
Okay. Yeah, so basically you see it right?
Yes,
no?
yes.
Okay. So the diversity of fields that need bioinformatics expertise is continuously growing. And right now the situation is that almost every life scientist is slowly converting into a bioinformatician, learning to do some computer work and analyze their data. And basically bioinformatics is a necessary a cornerstone for development of modern biotech and personalized medicine. And in Armenia, we actually need an exponential growth of capacity in this area to respond to these growing needs and enable the development of these sectors. Mm-hmm. And basically, the Armenian Bioinformatics Institute was actually established in the beginning of 2021 by a group of Armenian and diaspora and non-Armenian scientists from around the world. And it was based on the seed that was actually developed in the group of Dr. Arshak Arshakyan. I have actually been his PhD student. And so like together with all the people that are working there right now, and we have had the opportunity to mobilize talents from around the world and build the institute, which is basically a research institute in its design, which currently hosts one lab and another group, but we are aiming at building at least 6 labs within 3 years. And we are conducting some non-formal educational activities to recruit students and fill knowledge gaps that they may have, and also build infrastructure which will serve not only our institute, but also the whole Armenia in providing bioinformatics capacity and computing resources, and also for data storage. And we are also collaborating with some industrial companies abroad, just to bring a marketplace to Armenia and have the gradual impact also both on the educational sector as well as on the industrial sector. So this is we are a very new institution, so of course our achievements this year are modest, but we are kind of proud of them. So basically you can see the 2021 in numbers, and I would just like to highlight the number of people that have joined us. So it's like 42 people, and most of them are from diaspora, and some are non-Armenian people from abroad that have joined the initiative, and they are contributing in many different ways. So currently, and we have conducted a big summer school initially, gathering around 20 students, 10 of which are actively involved in research projects right now, supervised by researchers from Armenia and from abroad. And yeah, we have also managed to have some partnership agreements with industrial entities, a company in UK and 2 companies in the US. to make strategic investments into the institute and in order, like with the vision to grow a team of bioinformaticians in Armenia that would serve these companies. And basically, I would like to highlight where ARPA, what role ARPA has played in all of this. It's actually very encouraging that ARPA was one of the first supporters of ABI from its early days. But my acquaintance with ARPA came a bit before that, so around year 2015. I won the innovation competition from ARPA together with Dr. Arshak Arshakyan on our studies on telomere biology, factors associated with aging and cancers. And it's symbolic that my first donation to ABI was in the same amount of $2,000 that I actually got from this innovation competition. So it's kind of a flow of support in nature that one way or another comes back. And ARPA has also, first of all, supported 2 students in our programs. So there was one program where we attract life science postdocs from abroad. You can see here the example of Dr. Erik Aznaurian from Harvard University, working on gene delivery, design of gene delivery vehicles. And you can see here a student from the American University of Armenia who's joined ERIC and provides support to ERIC's research, at the same time having the opportunity to get engaged into their research. And Tatevik gets a scholarship from ARPA at the amount of $300 per month for 6 months. And the same scholarship has went to another student from AUA, Narek, who's been studying the role of telomeres as a biomarker for cancer. And he has also had the opportunity to get the ARPA scholarship. And the purpose of these scholarships is, of course, to give students the opportunity to dedicate their time to research instead of having a second job in addition to their studies. In addition, we have managed to set up a way for people in the US to make tax-deductible donations to ABI, and this is through support of ARPA. Like people donate to ARPA, and then we are getting this support from them, and that's a very important technical support. And finally, Dr. Sarkis Atrakian, who's part of ARPA, he's been a speaker during our summer school, and other than that, he's also been supporting our students, participating in our journal clubs and helping the students to understand how to read scientific papers, etc. So all types of support that we get from this. And with this, I would like to just share with you the vision that we have. So in 5-year time, we are hoping to become an institute with an international impact. And in 10-year time, what our purpose is actually to generate the needed amount of human capital of bioinformatics specialists that would enable biotech and pharma companies to get established in Armenia, to set up their teams here. So I would like to quickly just go over some numbers just to appreciate the people that are involved in this initiative, and some full-time workers. So right now we have some management team of full-time workers, and we have around 10 research students and around 4 or 5 remote supervisors that are constantly engaged in supervising our students. And I'd like to thank our partners from academic and educational sectors, as well as our donors, including ARPA. And if you'd like to know more, please visit our website. And thanks a lot.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Nersisyan, and for all your hard work that continues. And now we have very direct ways that we know that we can help, thanks to your presentation. Last but definitely not least, I'd like to invite Dr. Narek Margarian. who is a Ph.D. from Yerevan State University, a researcher in physics on nanostructures and nanomaterials at Alikhanyan National Science Laboratory. Narek is head of the Class 1000 Clean Room, fully sponsored by the ARPA Institute. 2 scientific research projects managed by Narek Margarian will be carried out in the clean room. Narek teaches physics at the National Polytechnic Institute, University of Armenia, and has participated in 9 international scientific conferences and is the author of 25 scientific publications and a book for college students. Thank you, Dr. Margarian. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It is an honor to be in the same list with such outstanding persons. As it was mentioned, I'm the head of the Class 1000 Clean Room Laboratory, fully sponsored by ARPA institution. But not only financial support was provided by ARPA, but also I would mention about the intellectual support of ARPA. You know, our clean room is a result of a teamwork. Close-knit team was worked in 24/7 mode. All works were managed by Jakob Panosian from United States side and by Ani Abrahamian from Armenian side. This is our team, Aram Tandelian. The help of Aram Tandelian was essential for us. He is a great specialist and helped us to have the clean room. Mikhail Martirosyan, the engineer, he did great work, and Arpine from scientific point of view helped us. And
Narek,
I have
change
my
the slides,
humble
Narek.
contribution here. Sorry?
Change the slides. You're not
The
changing.
slide.
Okay. What the slide you see at the moment?
The first slide, the title page.
Oh no, I'm changing slides.
You might be having.
Now can you see?
No, we still see the first slide. You may have to.
Oh,
Click on
I'm
the
changing
slides
all
on
the
the
slides
left.
on my desktop.
Click on the slides on the left.
You know,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it works perfect.
okay. This is our team. This is the close-knit team I mentioned. Okay, now I would like to present briefly the scientific projects that will be conducted in the clean room. First project relates to such material called graphene. As you know, it is invented by Game and Navasyolov, and they received for this invention Nobel Prize. Graphene is atomically thin materials, and the main characteristic of graphene, mobility of electrons, as you can see, is much higher than in case of ordinary used semiconductor materials. In our laboratory, we will synthesize graphene by chemical vapor deposition method. After that, it will be all samples will be transferred to the clean room laboratory and used for scientific purposes. Why clean room laboratory is essential for in this case? Because the particles of the dust are much thicker, about 1,000 times thicker than graphene layers or nano layers. So clean room is essential to study graphene and other kind of nanomaterials. The first project for which will be used refers to the thermal camouflage layers. As you can know, everybody releases heat, releases energy, which is in infrared range. So heat of persons, heat of objects, heat of techniques can be detected by devices such as thermal vision or night vision devices. And using graphene and the opportunity of graphene, we are planning to receive layers which provide thermal camouflage. It can be essential also for our soldiers and can preserve young men's lives. The second project refers to the solar cells based on perovskite graphene heterostructures. These materials are sustainable and stable. They can be used even in the space under the radiation of high energy particles. And application of graphene in these layers can significantly increase the efficiency of the solar cells. The next project, which we do in collaboration with State Pedagogical University, especially with Goganian Edwards Laboratory, refers to the application of graphene in terahertz technologies. Terahertz technologies have contributed in many scientific and technical fields, such as bioimaging, security system, wireless connections. It is said that the 6G connection will be worked in terahertz range. And in all these for all these applications, detectors and modulators are required, which should be mechanically strong, sensitive, and affordable. So using graphene, it is possible to reach these goals. All these projects are new begun projects at Alikhanyan National Science Laboratory and sponsored by Scientific Committee of Armenia. These problems can be solved also using flexible, transparent electronics. Only problem in this way is the absence of the lithography purchase systems, but we are planning to solve this during next years. I would like to mention that intellectual capacity of Armenians overall the world is united in Alikhanyan National Laboratory. Here you can see the scientific advisors from Diaspora. They help us to conduct good research in Alikhanyan National Laboratory. I would like to thank them because they find time, they are very busy, they are actively working scientists, but they find time to help us to do a lot of good things for us. Especially Khachatur Manukyan from Notre Dame University, United States, Artavas Kirakosyan from Korea, and David Ghazarian from, he works in United States, United Kingdom and Russian Federation. Also, as a part of works in our research, we're involved with two interns from California, Haig Meselian and Kenar Baghdasarian. And if we can develop our clean room and our infrastructures, we can invite many young Armenians from diaspora to do research in National Science Laboratory. Since it is National Science Laboratory, it can join Armenians to do good research there and to make good collaboration. And here I think ARPA can have significant role. And finally, using the opportunity, I would present our team. And we are doing all this research, and we are thankful to ARPA, which provides good opportunity to do work in Class 1000 clean room laboratory. Thank you for attention. Thank you for invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Grigoryan. I'd like to actually ask you a couple of questions, you and Dr. Aprahamian, that have come up. I was reading just recently on the chat about the clean room particularly. One question was asked, how large is the 1,000 clean room, and was it built by Armenians in Armenia? And also, how much did it cost in total?
The surface of the clean room is about 65 meters square. And please, could you repeat the second question?
Sure. Was it built by Armenians in Armenia?
Yes.
Sorry?
I can answer that.
Yes.
It was built in Armenia, yes.
And then how much did it cost? What was the total cost of the clean room?
So perhaps we should invite Dr. Panosyan to answer that question because they've been buying and paying directly.
It's going to cost around 100,000, if not more.
And how much of that was from ARPA?
All of it.
Oh, great. Okay.
Well, we haven't finished it yet, so we have still It's ongoing. It hasn't been completed yet.
So the total cost is 100,000, Dr.
We are
Panasian?
estimating will be 100,000. Yes.
And how far into that are we now?
We're completed the renovation, but then there is the equipment and furniture and a few other things that we have to complete.
So from that 100,000, how much is left that we still need to give?
Well, we still have around maybe 50,000 that we need at least. So that's where our community's help is very, very important. So we
50,000 we've given. So 50,000 approximately we've given, and then we have 50,000 left. So half of it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, now I can turn it over to the audience. We have a lot of questions in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and try to just work through them. I'm very cognizant of the time and so appreciate your presence and everybody hanging in on a Saturday morning here, Saturday evening there. Rupen Lusanyans asks a few questions to Deputy Minister Trchounian regarding proliferation of STEM education in Armenia. Dr. Trchounian, what are the key activities in Armenia aimed at proliferating STEM education? And what are the key aspects of transformation needed for a school system to dovetail with modern methodologies in STEM, experiential learning, etc.? Is he still on? Yes, there he is.
Okay, so thank you for the questions. First of all, regarding the schools, we, according to the government program, till 2026, we will have equipped all the schools with appropriate equipment for STEM, STEM labs. So we will not have a school without any laboratory equipment, which will help to make the laboratory classes, courses in the schools appropriate. Regarding the higher education, if I think it is also the question for all the education system, not also only the schools. Of course, we need to change and to make bigger educational programs, because now we have different universities with different or similar programs, and we need to understand exactly how we will how we will make the STEM education, first of all, qualified. We need to qualified educators and qualified researchers and qualified students, and of course we need a lot of money for this, because we need state-of-the-art labs in the universities. But we are trying as a ministry, starting from the schools, and then we are going to the universities. You know, we have a competitive innovation fund. This year we opened several new, and last year and this year we'll open again several new labs with the state-of-the-art equipment, which will be in different universities. In Yerevan State Universities was opened, in Russian Armenia Universities was opened. This year it will be opened in Yerevan State Medical University, and last year also the lab was opened in Yerevan State University of Architecture and Construction. So with money of maximum $600,000 for having established master programs or renovating master programs, and then equipping with new equipment in the universities. And of course, soon we will open one big lab again with this CIF fund in National Agrarian University. And hopefully the students will start having not only lectures, but also will have very good skills laboratory skills, I mean, and then I think we will have better students when they are finishing the bachelor or master or PhD. Just very short.
Dr. Trchounian, just to follow up on that, how do you think the private sector can help in proliferating STEM ed?
You know, this is a really problem in Armenia because private sector is not so much interested in investing in education. Only recently, IT sector, several companies, for example, CRISP opened a lab in Yerevan State University, and they started to have some joint, or they are trying to make a joint master and bachelor programs also, and try to have some from their companies, yeah, to go and give some lectures. But you know, it's very, very few, and only one small lab in with one small sector is not enough, I think. That's why currently I don't know, because in the world also there is a problem with private sector going to universities, and always when you ask private sector what you need, they ask we need very good qualified students, bachelor or master ones finishing, so to go to work in their companies. And we are saying from the university's point of view, please come and tell what type of students with which skills you want. So it's always a dilemma, and nobody wants to say, yes, we need, this is a way, but we have to think some new tools or to strengthen and then to stimulate the private sector to come to research and education.
Speaking of new research tools, Arpina Piloyan asks, how much are schools equipped by needed educational labs right now, and or laboratory items? And if all natural science educational labs have written book or of experiments and needed laboratory experiments?
So I don't know, because my colleague Jeanna Andresen knows exactly the number with how many schools are equipped with STEM, but I said already that all schools will be equipped according to our government. They will, the equipment will be bought and then distributed to the schools. And in Tavush region now we are as a pilot program, we made this new school program, new program with new methodologies in all time, not only in STEM but all just general, yeah, public schools. And then in 2024 will be the first results, and then it will, from 2024 or in all Armenia, we will have all schools already with new methodologies and with new textbooks and or appropriate books which will be in and not only in STEM, yeah, also in other subjects. So, but now it's in only in Tavush as a pilot program, and just recently she visited and tried to see how it's going and what ongoing problems we have, but hopefully we will have mainly based on competencies and according, you know, the teams, yeah, the international evaluation of the different pupil grades. We had a KPI to reach at least in 2026 in the middle and upper middle marks, let's say.
Deputy Minister Trchounian, you also mentioned there were the revisions to the MSc programs, the master's programs that are being had. Can you specify what those revisions were?
So it was mainly in Faculty of Mathematics.
Okay.
Recently, the new master programs in biotechnology, and I mean it is discussed to open a new master program in especially in biotechnology and with different private sectors, but it will be maybe next year. They are working now on, and the other is a bachelor program which was opened within data science. I think you have heard about it, but it's one of or several very few things that private sector has some investment, let's say, in this way.
Okay, great. Alice Petrosan is asking regarding what you said earlier about the school systems. Is this the TFA partnership, the Teach for Armenia, I'm assuming?
Armenia.
Yeah.
Teach for Armenia. You know, no, Teach for Armenia is a separate one. It's not related to the equipment. They are just sending different teachers, yeah, where in different regions of Armenia, they see what is the need. They do a need assessment and see, for example, they need biology teacher or let's say a language teacher or English language teacher, or I don't know, German. And then they go and send these teachers, and they go to the villages or the different regions of Armenia and teach for several years, let's say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I also want to briefly recognize the current Deputy Director of the Central Bank of Armenia, who has joined our call, Nerses Yeretsian, who is also the former Minister of Economy, and he has done quite a bit for science and technology in Armenia. So for that, we are grateful. Thank you for joining.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for recognition. Thanks.
Absolutely. And if there's anything
My pleasure.
Say, please feel free to.
Not at this stage. We had enough interesting discussion.
So I have a couple more questions. I think this could be addressed to the whole group. Joseph Arshakyan, I butchered your name, sorry. How can Armenia's research accomplishments be commercialized to support additional research? How can we commercialize our efforts? Any of the panelists?
If I may,
Yes.
that's actually a very important topic, since science and innovation are going along and in parallel and drive each other. And currently, at these states of economic development of Armenia, I would say that scientific results are way ahead of what can be adopted by Armenian economic sector. And considering also the volume of market within the country, it's obvious that innovation in Armenia and whatever discovery is can be and should be in the beginning commercialized in the on a more global scale. However, there are problems with that, because currently institutes, research organizations don't have enough resources to start commercialization process on one side. On the other side, this makes investors being not very critical to the developments which are originating in Armenia, if we are not talking about the IT sector, of course, right? We are talking about high tech. And on the other side, and this actually the place where ARPA also can contribute with its help to serve as a point of introduction of these innovations to the, at least in the US, to right persons and right people that can help to promote these discoveries and results. Currently, there are some developments in this direction. Government has established, or actually reanimated, the Agency for Technology Transfer. They invited several very well-recognized experts in field, and also set up connections with Yerevan Physics, who is currently head of Technology Transfer Office at Harvard. And there is this experienced team currently is looking for opportunities of increasing the flow of scientific results into tech transfer pipeline. But they have to deal with many different problems, starting from the legislative, finishing with talking to investors and attracting high-tech investors to Armenia. But something is going on. Hopefully, it will become better in several years. But currently, the situation is what I described.
I appreciate it. And Dr. Arshakyan, you also wrote on behalf of Sylvie Trchounian, who wrote, from the point of view of a volunteer fundraiser, I would like to suggest to exhibit the different sections of ARPA Institute's projects and invite donors to help the projects dear to their hearts. Yes, I would like to second that comment. And in the interest of time, it looks like we've run out of time. So we are going to have to leave the conversation there. I really want to thank the panelists for their hard work and for their time here today to talk about it. And thank you to all of you for watching and your interest. Thank you from me, Ani Abrahamian, and the whole team here at the ARPA Institute in solidarity.
Thank you, Ani. Thank you very much for a great moderation. And thank you, everybody, all the panelists, for their excellent presentations. I think you talked a little too much about me. I think you should have mentioned more ARPA, because it's not me, it's the whole team that works on these things, and therefore it's a teamwork. And we invite every individual who is an expert in any field to join ARPA to try to make the advancements even further in science, technology, healthcare, education, many other fields. So we will be glad to have anybody who can help. And also, I would like to mention that the clean room will cost, as we said, around 100,000, and we still have about half of that we need to raise in order to complete the whole clean room needs, which includes equipment, as I said, as well as furniture. And we have now received the air shower that will arrive in Armenia soon, and they will put that air shower in there and try to complete at least the renovation part. Our next event is going to be on February 26th, a Saturday again at 10 a.m. And it will be on new trends in the economic development of Armenia. As you may have noticed, Armenia now is progressing very quickly, especially in the IT industry, and therefore the income that is being derived from these new innovations and new startups is close to 1/3 of the total income of Armenia. So I think that's a very good trend. And now we need to advance also the other sectors, the other fields, like biotechnology, molecular biology, nanotechnology, and many other areas. We need startups in these areas, and therefore that's why we need more innovations and more input from the diaspora. And our approach, the ARPA approach actually is that Armenia needs to work on big projects, because only big projects bring big innovations and big results. And that is why we're trying to now work on this radio antenna, which is one of the biggest projects in Armenia that has to be revamped and reactivated in order to attract international scientists. So the only way you can attract international scientists is by creating large research facilities, large teams of researchers that work on innovative projects that can have an impact, a global impact. And that's when international researchers will be interested in Armenia. And that is one thing that, of course, Ani Abrahamian is trying to do. and some others as well. So we appreciate that very much, and we would like to help in any way we can. Thank you, everybody, and hope to see you on the 26th. Goodbye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.